Look at human hair. Some people have hair that falls almost perfectly straight, some have loose waves, some have tight curls, and some hair grows in dense coils, almost like tiny springs. At first, this seems like just a cosmetic difference. But hair is not just decoration. It sits on one of the most important parts of the body, the head, the place where the brain is. So why did humans end up with so many different hair types? Was it random? Was it climate? Was it protection from the sun? Or is human hair hiding a much older evolutionary story? Before asking why hair became straight, wavy, curly, or tightly coiled, we need to ask a stranger question. Why did humans keep so much hair on the head at all? Our bodies are unusual. Compared with many other primates, humans look almost naked. We do not have thick fur covering our backs, chests, arms, and legs. Instead, we sweat. A lot. Sweat helped our ancestors release heat while walking, running, gathering, and hunting under the sun. Less body hair may have made that cooling system more effective. If sweat can evaporate from the skin, it carries heat away. But thick fur can trap that heat and block evaporation. So losing much of the body's fur may have helped humans become better at staying active in hot environments. But then there is the head, the one place where losing too much protection could become dangerous. Because under the scalp is the brain. And the brain is expensive. It uses a lot of energy. It produces heat. It does not handle overheating well. So as our ancestors became better at moving through hot, open environments, the head needed a different kind of solution. Not thick fur all over the body, but protection exactly where the sun could be most dangerous. This may be the first clue. Scalp hair was not only about beauty, it may have helped shade the head, reduce direct solar heat, and protect the skin beneath it. But if head hair was useful, another mystery appears. Why does it look so different from person to person? Why did the same human body produce straight hair in some people, waves in others, curls in others, and dense coils in others? This is where the story becomes more interesting, because hair does not sit on the body like a hat. It grows from living skin. It changes how sunlight reaches the scalp. It changes how air moves around the head. It changes how heat is trapped or released. And different hair shapes can behave very differently under the sun. Recent research tested this idea using thermal models of human heads wearing different hair textures. The results suggested that tightly curled hair can reduce solar heat gain on the scalp especially well. One reason is shape. Dense curls and coils can lift hair away from the scalp, creating space between the hair and the skin. That space can act almost like a protective layer. The hair blocks some sunlight, but it does not lie flat like a heavy blanket. So the scalp can be shaded while the head still releases heat. In hot, sunny environments, that could matter. Not because one hair type is better in every way, but because in a specific environment, one structure might solve a specific problem. For early humans living under intense sunlight, tightly curled scalp hair may have helped protect the brain from heat while reducing the amount of sweating needed to stay cool. That is a powerful idea. The same hair that today gets treated as style, identity, or fashion may have once been part of survival. Imagine an early human walking for hours under a harsh sun. No hat, no building, no air conditioning, just skin, sweat, and hair. In that world, the shape of hair on the head could affect how much heat reached the scalp. A tiny difference repeated over many generations can become important. But this is where we have to be careful. Hair type is not a simple climate map. You cannot look at one person's hair and explain their entire ancestry, environment, or history. Evolution is never that clean. Human groups move, mixed, split apart, met again. Some traits spread because they were useful. Some changed because of chance. Some became common because a small group carried them into a new place. And some may have been shaped by what people found attractive, familiar, or meaningful. So climate may be part of the story, but it is not the whole story. Straight hair, for example, is common in many East Asian and Native American populations. And some gene variants connected with thicker, straighter hair are especially common in parts of East Asia. But that does not mean straight hair has one simple cause. It may involve cold environments, population history, sexual selection, genetic drift, and other factors that are still being studied. In some environments, dense, straight hair might have helped retain warmth or protect the head in a different way. In other cases, the trait may have spread because of population history rather than a clear survival advantage. Wavy and curly hair also appear in many different populations. There is no perfect ladder from straight to coiled. There is variation, and human variation is messy. The real answer lives at several levels at once: environment, migration, ancestry, chance, and biology. Now we can finally go beneath the skin. A hair is not just a line growing out of the head, it is produced by a follicle, a tiny living structure under the skin. The shape of of that follicle, the angle it grows from, and the way cells build the hair fiber all help decide what the hair becomes. If the follicle and hair fiber grow more evenly, the hair may come out straighter. If growth is more uneven or curved, the hair may bend, wave, curl, or coil. A rounder hair fiber often tends to be straighter. A more oval or asymmetric fiber can curl more easily. Think of it like a ribbon. If a material grows evenly, it can fall in a smooth line. But if one side grows differently from the other, the shape begins to bend. Hair works in a much more complex way, but the basic idea is similar. Tiny differences during growth can create big differences in shape. But even this is not one single switch. There is no one magic curly hair gene. Hair texture is influenced by many genes. Those genes can affect follicle shape, strand thickness, growth angle, hair diameter, and the microscopic structure of the fiber. That is why two siblings can have different hair. It is why a child's hair can change after puberty. It is why hair can shift with hormones, age, or health. And it is why human hair types form a spectrum, not four perfect boxes. The categories we use, straight, wavy, curly, and coily, are useful for talking about hair, but biology does not always respect neat labels. A single head can even contain different curl patterns in different places, and the same person's hair can look different depending on humidity, length, damage, oils, or how it is cared for. So when we ask why humans have different hair types, the answer is not just one thing. It is not simply because of the sun. It is not simply because of genes. And it is not simply because of ancestry. It is all of these forces interacting across thousands of years. Hair is also deeply cultural. Long before modern salons, humans were cutting, tying, braiding, shaving, decorating, and shaping hair. Hair could signal age, group identity, status, beauty, mourning, rebellion, religion, belonging. For many people, hair is not just biology sitting on the head. It is memory, family, history, and sometimes even resistance. The biological story became a social story. Something that may have begun as protection for the head became one of the most visible parts of human identity. And maybe that is why hair feels so personal. It is not just dead fibers growing from the scalp. It is something people recognize themselves through, something others notice immediately, something shaped by ancestors we will never meet. And the more we study it, the less ordinary it becomes. A strand of hair can look simple, but behind it are follicles, genes, sunlight, heat, movement, migration, and thousands of generations of human life. It is one of the most visible parts of us, but its origin is hidden deep under the skin and deep in the past. So human hair is not random decoration. It is a record of heat, sunlight, migration, genetics, chance, and culture. The reason humans have different hair types is not because nature made one correct version and several mistakes. It is because the same human body traveled through different worlds, carried different histories, and solved problems in different ways. Straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair, coiled hair, they are not just styles, they are different versions of an ancient story growing from the head.